Hi, and good afternoon to everyone. I am First Sergeant Daniel Cardona. As you can see, you probably know where I work. You can imagine how important this project is. We live in a digital era where everything is now on the web, or maybe still on paper, with all kinds of information. The military is a very complex organization, so you can imagine the amount of information and paperwork. It kind of take a big part of our business, creating great quantities of documents and files. When we start to process all this information, we need tools that give us the desired results in the less possible time to make decisions more effectively and reasonably. That's why we have a great success in our missions. You probably heard there's always a tool for everything, but what if that tool becomes inefficient? We need to modify it or change it if we want to keep a high level of readiness and performance in our companies. In such big organization, information process sometimes is organized in not such a user-friendly way, so everyone could process it, understand it. All right. So without further ado, let's get to the point. After analyzing which factors can be affecting the performance of the company, we realize the readiness of personnel seems to be one of the most common and critical ones. The critical aspect of readiness is because its level will let the leaders know how proficient is the unit when a mission comes to place. It also facilitates their decision-making process. Normally, when a company is established, the scope of work goes along with it. It doesn't change, but where I work, the only thing constant is change itself. That's kind of our lifestyle. Recently, the company received an order to change the scope of work by our headquarters, changing it from a horizontal-only construction company to combine it now with the vertical construction. So you can imagine the amount of time it takes to process all this information. And change a scope of work in a company like this, it sounds challenging. Can you visualize how this affects the readiness of personnel and the overall performance of the unit? Sounds big, right? The main reason this project has been put into place is to identify these challenges that affects the current process and to create a plan to address any issues that decreases the readiness and high performance of personnel in a more efficient way. Any situation that involves deep analysis, it is good to follow the engineering problem solving steps. So to identify the problem, that's step number one. But in our case, we could say is identify what are the training needs that affects the mission and readiness of the unit. Then we identify any constraints. For this project, time is one of them. To have an idea how long it will take to get everyone trained, a timeline must be established to reach that goal. Using what is currently in place, it helps in determining what will be the new timeline. So every decision from now on will be based in this new timeline. The other one that affects the unit is the performance. It's how many personnel is trained. This impacts the mission success rate or the desired efficiency of the unit. One of the solutions to this problem is to prioritize the training needs. This will take care of both at the same time. Therefore, we created a table for organizing all the data. This is where it all starts to become a challenge, collecting data from all possible sources to be processed in a relevant way. After all data is collected in a table, priorities are assigned and a path to the desired result is established. This is where the plan starts to take shape with all the steps defined to reach a goal. The next step is to do follow-ups, seeing if the established plan for meeting the goal is working, and maybe do some adjusting for some of the steps to keep it on track. After some historical data is collected, results are evaluated. This is where any reasonable change or big change comes into place, or to keep an established path through the goal and possibly making it a standard operating procedure, SOP, right, to be used by everyone. As you can see, the table data is analyzed by percentages, with color coding giving us an idea where the main effort are to be focused. Red obviously means critical, that required personnel needs to be trained as soon as possible. Yellow means that there are some personnel but not so quite much. While green is good to go. That means that everyone is trained. At the end, if you can see, the total percentage cell has also a color. This one will determine the overall status. If it is green, then the readiness is good. If it is amber, then needed training for the company, but maybe it's operable. So under some circumstances, we could still do some missions. But if we get to red, this will be more critical. Training needs are directly affecting the unit's performance, so something needs to be done. After identifying where all the training needs and their priorities, we are working on an evaluation system that will be established as soon as today. It is currently under development. So we're going to rank the personnel per the level of proficiency and all the qualifying aspects that will make them ready to be trained and to establish a performance level that will rank the personnel by experience and training. This information will be used by leaders when they have to assign personnel to their missions. When a leader has all the relevant information, it can make better decisions, and time can be optimized in an efficient and organized way. So when evaluating the progress of training needs and unit readiness, this tool can be handy because it allows to make changes, record historical data, and even use it as a baseline for future changes in any other unit scope of work. I want to leave by saying that success goes in hand with good decisions. And to make good decisions, we need to have the right information. Thank you for listening, and please feel free to ask any questions. Hi, and good afternoon to everyone.